What's going on, guys? This is Alecus, the Galactic Guardian, reporting for duty live here today. We're going to be making this video. And what we're going to be talking about today is the new Earth, right? We're going to be talking about the planet that is to come, right? So basically, what we're going to be talking about is the new Earth, Revelations, right? The beginning and the end, right? The end of the old planet, the beginning of the new planet. What is the planet, if you really think about it? It's a world that we exist on, that we create a reality on. It's like a video game matrix system where we create our reality on this planet, right? And so, with that being said, that's the Earth. So what's the new Earth? Well, the new Earth is the beginning, right? Of what? Merging with God, merging with our soul, merging with, you could say, our higher self. Now let's define some of these words. The higher self is the perfected version of the soul. Okay? Higher self is basically perfect. Perfect, it's pure, it exists outside of time and space. It is the perfected version of you. Okay? Basically, higher self. The soul is the being that inhabits the body, okay, to experience a physical life here, planet Earth. What it says in Revelations is that God will basically wipe every tear from every face of this earth, and that fear and death will be no more. Basically, immortality is basically what it states. Death will be no more. In this new planet, you will have eternal life. This new dimension, whatever you call it. There's many beliefs about what that actually means in different religious texts. Really excited to do more research on that type of stuff. As some of this stuff that we'll be sharing with you on this video. Want to make this video about 10 minutes long, whatever. We're just kind of flowing as we're just getting a download on what to share about this. Is that we have a lot of programming in our bodies. Okay, so I want to talk about fear today. I want to talk about beliefs, and I want to talk about how reality is created, right, through magic. And basically that we create our reality with our own beliefs, with our own thoughts, with our own programs. We create our own reality. So with that being said, let's talk about the matrix. Because we're gonna get into the point, we're kind of flowing, like I said. There's a couple different points that I want to make here on the video. Is that most of the fear that we have is a belief, right? And so you have the truth, which is your soul, the truth, which is God, the truth, which is divine, and then you also have beliefs. You have programs, you have thoughts in your head that aren't actually even you, okay? That they're not even you, but you experience these beliefs. And a lot of times these beliefs, especially when we're unconscious of them, they dictate our own reality, okay? We dictate our own reality. And so what does that actually mean? Let me give you a specific example. Specific example that really comes to mind, like, would be, for myself, for my human in this life, was that, he actually, and I'm speaking as the narrator now, right? I'm speaking about my past self, right? Which technically is me, but also from a multidimensional, omnipresent point of view, it's actually my past self. But this version of me went and played college basketball, right? And this version of me had a belief that the coaches were against him, that he didn't get enough playing time, all this stuff. Okay, so the belief dictated their reality. You might have the skill, you might have the talent, you might work for it, but if you have a belief that life is just not fair, no matter how hard I work, it just doesn't work. No matter how hard I try, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter, how much work you put in. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter how much you try. What matters is what reality do you experience. You experience a reality that you're vibrating, that's your vibration, that's your energy field, right? And so that's really what it comes down to. Energy field, right? Your energy field, the truth. So to create this new Earth, the planet, we're basically becoming one with God. Okay, so some would say the rapture, we're going to die, our bodies are going to stay here, our spirits are going to go to heaven. Okay, and to some degree that might be true. But really what I believe is more about is just teaching our human self how to become the highest version. Okay, become the best version of yourself is a pretty cliche term in the personal development community, success community, different entrepreneur spaces, network marketing spaces, be the best version of yourself. Everyone says that, right? Literally everyone says that. And you have people coming from religious backgrounds that it's basically about, repent and come to Jesus, come to God, be your best self, right? It's always be your highest version, right? Be the godly version of you. That's basically what we're here to do, is to perfect our souls, right? That's what Dr. Bruce Goldberg, who is a professional hypnotherapist that works in high dimensions, there's different perspectives to look at, by the way, but a lot of them are true. They're two from different perspectives, but it's also realize that nothing is true. Everything is a self-fulfilling prophecy anyway. So what does that actually mean? What's the point of even realizing all this? Is you realize we're here to become the best version of ourselves. So the best version of ourselves will follow the path of God or divine will. Divine will is what God has written for your life, right? Our divine blueprint is going to be your own little puzzle piece. Divine plan is the puzzle, right? So we all have a plan in our life. We have a divine plan for our life. We all have a blueprint. We all have something that's going to go inside that puzzle, which is the puzzle piece. We have divine will, which is going to be the path we take. And so throughout that path, there's going to be little steps along the way that we're going to have to walk into. We're either going to follow through on that guidance or we're not, right? So we may have certain things like different spiritual guidance, so simple like, little things in our life. It's like, what's the right way? What's not? What's the right path to actually take? Do we know what this path is? Because if you want to follow a godly path, anyone that's worked with God, and this is what I was talking to some of my friends the other day, I was thinking about, look at any of the historical figures, any of the saints from before, from the past, any of the inventors, anyone that was famous or did anything of, value to the world in the history of time. All these people, they had a spiritual path. They had a mission from God. You could say they had a mission from God. It was written in their blueprint to achieve that in this life. Like, that's what it was. It wasn't just random. It wasn't just, this person was a genius. This person was, just so smart. No, it was like these people, literally were chosen by God, or they walked with God. Okay, they walked with God. So how do you walk with God? You have to surrender to God. You have to commit to God. You have to realize that you're being guided. You have to realize that there's a higher power that's guiding you in this entire universe. And by following your own feelings, you're going to get there. And one of the communities that I got involved with is more about success, right? There's different ways of looking at it. So there's religion, there's ascension, there's spirituality, there's success. It's all basically the same thing. But ultimately, we all agree on a few things. Do unto others as you'd like done unto you. Law of exchange, the golden rule, being your best self, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, taking care of others, loving others. We all agree on these things, right? At the end of the day, we all agree on this, right? I don't think anyone really disagrees, but one of the success circles that I learned from is they talk about following your feelings, that there's an internal guidance system guiding you, okay? But one of the things the Matrix does is they put poisonous foods, right, in your body. When you have poisonous foods in your body, your internal guidance system is disconnected. You can't really tell what's guiding you. The other thing is, the programming in your mind. Okay, the program in your mind, if it's negative, you're gonna think negative. You have negative people around you, you're gonna think negative. If you got positive people around you, you're gonna think positive. So really think about this and consider this. Okay, think about this and consider this right now. That you are a spiritual being, pure, right, coming from God, from source. You are a spiritual being, pure, coming from God and coming from source. Okay, you're a spiritual being, pure, coming from God, coming from source. And at the end of the day, what can impurify you? Because you weren't born impure, you were born in spirit. You were born pure spirit. You came into the flesh. So that's why they say children are pure, bro. Children are pure. Children are not born with fear. They're not born with lust. They're not born with sickness or disease. Most of the time, this is given to them via a belief, via a program, via dietary choices, environmental factors. All these things are going to affect how a human being forms itself to be, right? So realize that and understand that your spirit or your soul, matter of fact, your soul, is more than just this life. you not only experience this lifetime, but you've also experienced other lifetimes. That's what they call reincarnation in some religious beliefs. Some people do not believe in reincarnation. Some people, don't think it's a real thing. Some people do, guys. At the end of the day, the truth does not require your belief for it to exist. Now, let's break that down. The truth does not require a belief for it to exist, right? So what even is the truth? They asked Jesus, what was the truth? They said Jesus was either a liar, he was crazy, or he was who he said he was, which was the Lord and Savior, right? At the end of the day, guys. So what is truth? He said when the truth is revealed, it will set them free. So what's the truth, guys? The truth is this, simply this. I'm going to tell you the truth. The truth is that non-existence does not exist because thought creates existence. Non-existence does not exist because thought creates existence. Nothing is true. Everything is self-fulfilling prophecy. So understand what I just said, right? There's no such thing as something being made up because everything already exists. Everything came from oneness. Everything come from God. Everything came from the source of all creation, means everything exists. We only experience what we are aware of and focus on. We only experience that which we are the vibration of. We only experience what we are aware of and focus on. We only experience, right, what we are aware of and what we focus on. Think about what I just said. Everything exists. Nothing is made up. Okay, that car right there, that tree right there. How did we get a tree? Someone planted it. Okay, they had a vision to create that tree. They planted a tree. How did that car exist? Someone had a way. Someone had an idea. Hey, I'm gonna go build a car today. I'm gonna have the idea. Everything started in someone's imagination. Nothing is fake or made up. Everything exists, but we only experience what we are aware of. So how do we become aware of something? We become aware of something because we read about it. Someone that told us about it, right? So at the end of the day, guys, there's only two ways to sell something in today's day and age. One is by paid advertisement, and two is by word of mouth marketing, guys. So you either saw it on a paid advertisement or you saw it by someone that you know. You only know about things that you saw, or you know about things that you heard, or you know about something that you personally experienced in your life through your eyes or through your ears, through your senses. That's the physical reality. But we also have a sixth sense, right? We also have our clair senses. Not only have our normal 5 physical senses, but we have our clair senses too. Our clairvoyance, our ability to see clearly, our clairaudience, our ability to see, to hear clearly. We have our clairsentience, our ability to feel, right, what's right in front of us, internal guidance system, right? How do we connect with God? You got to connect with your heart. You got to connect with how you feel. You got to connect with, your feelings are leading you the way. God is the message. A lot of times, God, if you look at Noah, you look at Moses, you look at, any of these people, Abraham, you look at, any of these people from the Bible, you're going to look at all these prophets from the time, King Solomon, you look at King David, you look at, all these people. They basically were prophets. They basically had an inner voice guiding them that people would say was God, or that it was Yahweh, right? They had a voice guiding them. That's clairaudience. That's a psychic ability, right? And some people say it's all separation, right? I've seen pastors, and I don't agree or disagree, but I have pastors that will say being a psychic is demonic or something like that. But understand that being a prophet and being connected with God is basically the same thing as being a psychic. It's basically the same thing. Not that one of them's right or wrong, but the demonic matrix program system makes us believe everything spiritual is demonic, right? Because we look at the horror movies, we look at the video games, it's all demonic, right? It's all demonic because we never sell on the angelic side of things. It only shows the demonic side of things. That's the matrix programming. Everything's demonic. What about the angelic side of things? You can tap into an angel, right? Some would say, that's God speaking to you. That's the Holy Spirit. And you could also say that's an angel. But who's to say who's right and who's wrong? It's just a word, right? At the end of the day, words are just labels. Labels are limitations for vibrations in reality. So at the end of the day, it's all energy. It's all frequency. Love is the universal language. It's funny. I had this time when I was actually, on an airplane, and, I was on an airport and I spoke English. This guy spoke Spanish, right? We didn't understand each other, but we made each other smile and laugh. It's because it's the universal language is love, guys. Love is unity. Love is frequency. That's what I'm going to tell you guys. The new earth is nothing more than a reflection or a mirror of us creating our truth on the inside, right? So by us following our own internal guidance system, following our feelings, guys, facing our fears, the universe reveals itself to those who dare to follow their hearts. That's what Ralph Smart said. Shout out Ralph Smart. Got over 2 million on YouTube, being a spiritual awakening guy. This guy's been teaching about this spiritual principle since 2010. On YouTube, one of the guys I really love listening to, he actually got me onto a 7-day vegan challenge diet and started helping me get healthy, 4 or 5 years ago, guys, and someone that I aspire to be like in my life, and you want to be associating with people that really have what you want and are really going the same direction as you want to go. guys, and so that's really what I want to show you guys on this video today. You know, the new earth. The new earth is us just merging with the truth. Okay, merging with the truth. When we become present, or I would call divine presence, we receive what's called divine guidance. Divine guidance comes from the higher source of intelligence, or the higher self, right? So when we follow through on this guidance, we enter this state of flow. We say to the state of flow where we always have guidance in the present moment, because we're in the present moment, right? So we want to be in the present moment, guys. The 0 point field of the present moment is the quantum field. It is the access point of all knowledge, of all wisdom, of all information. And so at the end of the day, guys, if you want to remember, you must first forget. That's what Matthias Stefano once said, is that for you to remember, you have to forget. Okay, for you to remember, you have to forget. It is funny how a lot of these paradoxes are really true, right? You know, and as Matthias Stefano said, for you to remember, you have to forget. You know, Leonardo da Vinci said, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, right? So what does that actually mean? Simplicity is sophistication in that, you know, if you want to, you know, not everything that you gain is actually a gain, right? If some things, it's actually a loss to gain, and some things is a gain to lose, right? So just realize when it comes to paradoxes, guys, you know, it all comes down to frequency. It all comes down to you're creating a reality. Every potential universe exists. Every decision you could make already exists. And so how do you choose the highest one or the best one? Follow your own feelings. Spiritual awakening and evolution is not about being perfect as far as, you know, having to sit there and judge and criticize yourself, although sometimes it can feel like that. It's really more about just purity. It's more about presence and purity. Presence is the highest frequency. I'm gonna be real with you guys. You know, joy and enthusiasm are high frequencies, but the highest frequency of all is presence. Divine presence, unconditional love, right? We are eternal spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. You cannot kill a soul, right? To my knowledge or awareness, there's things you can do with souls or whatever. But understand this, guys, and we're gonna go a little bit on a tangent here. You know, maybe we'll take this thing to 20 minutes. But when it comes to demonic things and angelic things, understand that these both exist. Okay, these both exist, but once again, we get what we are aware of and focus on. Some people are aware of angels, they focus on angels, so they experience angels. Some people are aware of demons, they focus on demons, and they experience that. Not that either of them is right or wrong, but become aware that you're the creator of your reality. So there's no such thing as, oh, this is just the way it is. That's a belief. That's a story you're telling yourself. Beliefs are programs coming from past reference experiences. You have to change what you believe. Don't change what you believe. You have to change how you program yourself. So you have to be aware and present enough to not speak something you don't want into your reality. Only speak what you want to experience in your reality. How do you know what you want? You got to follow your feelings. You got to go out there and go dream building. You got to go look at things you want. It's not only about just material world, but guys, understand we are in a material reality right now. We are in a quote unquote physical reality, whether you call it a virtual reality, a video game, whatever. But you got to look at physical things and physical life that you actually want. But also remember who you are. You know, that's really what this thing is about. It's not just getting things, but it's also achieving a feeling state of who are you really, a feeling state of your true self, of being in alignment with your true self, being in alignment with your inner voice, being in alignment with God. That's what it's about. Being in alignment with God, listening to God. You know, when you fear God, you fear nothing in this world, right? And some people say, okay, I shouldn't fear God. But understand, if you don't fear God, you will have fear in the world. Okay, you either fear the word or you feel the world. Which one is it? Like, there's one or the other, guys. At the end of the day, when you listen to the word, you don't listen to the world. There's the word, there's the world, right? Which one are we going to listen to? So when it comes down to what they say, judgment day, all it is you're going to have to face everything that you're judging. And understand that, you know, it's not in a certain set time in the future, guys. It's whenever you choose. Like, you can do this at any moment. You can do this every week. You can do this every month, you know, every year, every quarter, whatever it is. You know, you can actually do that, right? You can actually do that. What is Judgment Day? Facing everything that you fear. Face everything that you're judging. Facing everything that you're ashamed of. Face everything that you need to forgive. Like, guys, and that's what it is. And that's what coming to God is. You know, that's what a rapture is. It's when you're letting go of your beliefs. A rapture is not you're dying. It's an ego death, right? It's an ego death in a sense that you're surrendering your way of thinking and you're coming to the truth of God. You're coming to the truth of God. At the end of the day, guys, the truth is the truth. Like I said, it doesn't take your belief. Right, I'm going to say, like, you know, when it comes to like reincarnation, it comes to, you know, your spiritual past, and it comes to the Akashic records, guys, the Akashic records it's a fact. Like, just tap into yourself. But not everyone believes in that. And I'm going to get into this, and I don't need to, but I will. People only believe what you've experienced to be programmed to be true. So just because we have beliefs does not mean it's the whole truth. But a belief is our version of the truth. A belief is a percentage of the truth. But if this is what I always say, right? When people ask me this question, they always ask me, or whatever, when some people ask me this question, they're like, so what is the truth? There's Christianity, there's Buddhism, there's Taoism, there's Hinduism, there's, the different ways of looking at things. I say, look, if I grew up in China, I would speak Chinese. If I grew up in Mexico, I'd speak Spanish. Like, if I grew up in America, I'd speak English. Okay, and so if I grew up in the Christian church, I'd have a Christian belief system. If I grew up in a Muslim church, I don't know if it's a church or a temple or whatever you call it, or a Buddhist one, I would believe Buddhism. So it's not that either of them are right or wrong. It's not either one they're true or false. It's just they're both perspectives. They're both perspectives that are basically shining light on the same truth, right? Is that there's some basic rules and laws that there must be a higher source of creation that's pure and love that wants us to follow these, right? What is it, God? Is it the creator? Is it the universe? Is it the law of attraction? Is it manifestation? Yes, you can use your mind and you can manifest and create things, and that's part of reality. That's one of the universal laws. Law of attraction is one of the universal laws. So is the law of vibration. So is, there's many laws, universal laws that we can get into. We can get into them, right, guys? But realize these universal laws are true. The truth is that a lot of things that we believe are not actually true, but the things that are true are the deeper truths, the ones that have been around, the principles. The principles have always been true because it's the truth, right? It's the truth, guys. So anyway, guys, I could literally keep going forever, but that's pretty much the basic idea of this video. I want to wrap it up is the new earth. The new earth is a creation when we realize we're not competing with each other. Does that make sense? I'm not competing with you. You're not competing with me. That was a Matrix program. Believe, guys, when I grew up as a kid, I was playing basketball, I was playing baseball, playing video games. It was always about, are you better than me or am I better than you? Who cares? We're co-creating this reality. This is a collective consciousness created reality. The reality we experience on planet Earth is a reflection of the collective programming and the collective beliefs. What do we believe? Guys, when we collaborate, when we work together, you understand that when we're working together, we can do anything. But if I'm working to, this is what Gary Vee said. Gary Vee is a 100 millionaire guy, CEO of a very famous company, VaynerMedia. Works with professionals, athletes, and all this stuff, and really good on social media. This guy does keynote speeches, best-selling author. This guy Gary Vee, right? One thing he said was, there's two ways to build the tallest skyscraper in town. One way is to build the best one. The second way is to rip down everyone else's. Guys, really think about that. We don't need to rip each other's castles down or towers down. Let's. If anything, I'm gonna go to the tallest person, the person has the biggest, tallest castle, tower, and I'm gonna say, hey, how'd you do it? I want to do it too. But we think everything's a competition. It's like, oh, that person has that much money, that person has that many followers, I'm better than that person. And then we're jealous, or we're competing with them in our head, when in reality we should be learning from them. Right? And so that's a deep programming. That's one of the programs that's kind of can be hard to break. Because I remember when I went through that programming. That was one of the hard ones. Do you think, when we're judging ourselves, we're not being better than we think we're supposed to be, right? Based off of how other people are. Then, I should be just as good as them. And that's a hard program to break because it's really deeply ingrained. Not only is it deeply ingrained in our own childhood beliefs, but if you look left and right, it's in the group think also. So to stand out among the pack right there, it's not actually easy. It's not actually an easy one. That one's actually one of the harder programs to break, but it's one of them. So New Earth is what? It's unity. It's unity consciousness. It's we're working together. It's collaboration. It's realizing that we are one consciousness, that we can do anything together, right? We're not doing wars. What is a war? A war is disagreeing. So the only reason we're at war with each other is because we're at war with ourselves. The only reason we disagree with each other is because we disagree with ourselves. Well, this is good. The only reason we disagree with ourselves is because we are not in alignment with God. Understand this. If we all were in alignment with God, we would all agree with ourselves. But what happens is we have soul fragmentation, okay? The reason why we have soul fragmentation is because we have programming in the matrix that is not in alignment with the word of God. And so part of us have beliefs and habits, that comes from the programming and conditioning from the matrix that's not in alignment with the truth of the word of God. That's why we fight. Think about it. It's all a mirror. As within, so without. As within, so without, it's all a mirror. And so at the end of the day, if we're on war on this planet, that means we're at war with ourselves. And so if we're at war with ourselves, why are we at war with ourselves? Because we're disconnected with ourselves. We're judging ourselves, we're shaming ourselves, we're competing with ourselves. Like, think about it, it's all a mirror, it's all a reflection. And so we got to come together and be like, hey, I love you, man, for who you are. And we're actually starting to see this, guys. If you really think about it, the world's been changing. This is already happening, with or without. Like, the shift has been happening. And you're seeing a lot of, and who knows with what's going on in the news, if it's real or not. But at the end of the day, what's real is what we decide to create. The truth will be revealed. It will set people free. It will. It always will. Okay. How do we free ourselves? Is to free ourselves from our mind's false belief systems and programs. Okay. To choose to program ourselves in alignment with God. Okay. We get to this point in our awakening where we realize we can do anything. We can create anything. And you start to manifest things. But then there's a deeper level of awareness. Beyond that of like, okay, but who am I really? And why am I really here? What am I supposed to create? Right? Yeah, I can create anything. That's awesome. And then, but what are you supposed to do? Right? And that's deeper than creation. That's deeper than manifestation. Right? It's a deeper awareness of what am I here for? Am I here on a mission? This is a purpose. This is spiritual. This isn't just I'm just creating manifestation because I'm so cool. Look at my ego. I'm so awesome. No, it's more of, you know what, why am I actually here? What's the real meaning behind this? Right? And when we ask, it shall be given. When you seek, you shall be find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you, guys. So that's what I'm going to say, guys. That's the new earth. Who knows what the new earth is? It's beyond our wildest imagination. It's our creation. It's imagine when we have no limit on what we believe is possible. Most of it is about fear of survival on this planet right now. The old earth matrix is fear, it's survival consciousness. Step into creation consciousness. Right, and understand that if we take off the limit of God and we take off the limit of how much money we think it's cost, what would our imagination create? Imagination is God speaking to you, about your future. Some will say imagination is actually your future self looking back at you in a memory. That's what they say the imagination is. Think about that. If you can visualize a future self, that means imagination is the future. And if there's a version of you in the future that's looking back, that's memory. And so there's a future. If this is a quantum world, that means there's a future version of you that has a memory of this current version of you. And that means you have a vision of the future version of you. They both exist simultaneously in that dimension. That's really interesting stuff. But then you get into this reality layers. You get into this, probability layers. All parallel universes exist, but there's higher probability ones. Okay. Was there a parallel universe where Adolf Hitler never died and kept ruling other countries? Yeah, there was. It didn't happen though, or that's what we were told. But technically there's still a parallel universe where that happened. Okay, that's what parallel universe is. So there's a parallel universe where there is heaven on earth. There's a parallel universe where there's a world destruction. There's a parallel universe where, the new earth is created. So how do we create this parallel universe? Only by us surrendering to God, which is already happening anyway, naturally. We're all kind of going through the shift together. So that's what I would say, guys. That's going to be the message for today, guys. This is Alecus. I appreciate your time on here. If you want more videos like this, like it, comment, subscribe. Share with a friend who needs to hear this at the end of the day. Comments, questions, concerns, drop a comment, DM, and we'll see you guys in the next one.